Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise and this reading is for Tuesday, March 23rd, 2021. But as always, I'm looking for a message that helps us to heal our souls. So we can watch it on any day we want. Okay, well, this looks a little challenging. So we have the Seven of Swords. Sometimes that has to do with not getting away with something. And other times it has to do with getting away with something. I'm always a little torn with this card. And this is our theme for the day. So it can have to do, when it's reversed, I'm sorry, when it's straight up, it can have to do with a plan that hasn't gone well. Sometimes it is somebody taken off with something and it's an outright like theft. Other times it can be putting off something, because he's taking 5 swords with him and 2 are gone, 2 are behind. Sometimes it means having to go back and pick up the last 2 things that you left, and maybe you forgot that you left them, or you didn't realize that you left them, in a travel situation. And it's interesting that it's followed by the 8 of Swords. So that brings in the entire element of being in our own little self-created prisons, being trapped in our mental constructs, being held, but only by our own, the trappings of our mind is what I just heard. So it's important, I love the way that she put a mirror here. It's important that we take the blindfold off and look into the mirror and figure out what's going on, what's really going on. What are we putting off? I feel like the main message here, it does have to do with procrastination. What are we putting off that has kept us stuck, or is about to keep us, trapped? It can be, now, one of the common threads of the 8 of Swords can have to do with victim consciousness, Other times, it's just a lack of action, and that usually comes from a decision that needs to be made. So this would be like, be way beyond the 2 of Swords where you got to make a decision. You've gotten to the point where you've refused to make a decision, and now you're stuck. You're stuck, and you're going to have to go back and pick up some pieces. We're going to have to, because that's what it's about. It's all about needing to move forward. And here we're in a fear of moving forward. So we have to look into the mirror inside of our own souls to figure out what it is we're afraid of. And with the King of Cups here reversed, that has the element of being afraid of being manipulated. Maybe afraid of being betrayed. Maybe being afraid of not looking like you're calm, cool, and collected, because straight up he definitely is. But like I often say, I tend to look at the kings and queens as people in our lives. So if this is a person in your life, this could be somebody who's trying to get away with something, but here's one message. He's trying to get away with acting like a victim, and he doesn't realize that all he's doing is manipulating. And it doesn't work that way. Honesty and integrity. Honesty and integrity are the only things that matter in life. The only things that really work out come from being in our inner authority, being in the place where we have emotional integrity, which means your actions and your thoughts and words and deeds, they all line up, right? Your attitudes even all line up. you're in alignment with your true self, which is what this card's all about. So this could have to do with somebody, or it could be an aspect of ourselves where we're putting on a calm face and acting like, everything's okay, when we're really just wanting to run away. And we're trapping ourselves in this like victim consciousness where all we got to do is come clean and say what we need to say, whatever that is, whatever it is, to just come clean. And then it's not a problem anymore. This is like, being trapped in your own masky demeanor, This is like wearing an emotional mask of either being above it all or things aren't bothering you, that kind of thing, when they really are. And you can't clear out the cobwebs and move forward until you clear it out. In fact, the Nine of Swords follows the Eight, of course, duh. But because it does, the next card looks like, here, let me grab this deck that, oh goodness. It's not the best Nine of Swords, but it's actually not the worst either. So you can see sequentially. Just imagine here. Well, here, let's do it this way. No, let's just leave it. I was thinking I grabbed the other Nine of Swords just so you could see it, but this is good enough. It's nightmares. It's regrets. So if you don't come clean and be true to yourself, be true to your real feelings, let your real feelings come through, whatever they are, then what happens is yeah, you'll get away with it for a while. But it's kind of like, a half-truth is still a lie. You know what I mean? And it keeps you trapped in that vicious circle of always having to put up a happy face kind of thing. And eventually, it's going to start keeping you up at night. So that's why I wanted to bring that card through to explain that. And then, well, if we go one step further, why not? What happens eventually? You end up feeling betrayed and having to walk away. But what the key is here is that if we don't betray ourselves, if we never betray ourselves and we're clean with our in our relationships, then there's no need to have anything to end and walk away from, unless somebody's just cruel. I mean, those things happen when people are awful and you just have to walk away. I mean, that's part of life and growing up and giving people a chance, giving them the benefit of the doubt. And then sometimes it works, many times it does, and other times it's like, nope, gotta go. Okay, what else? Let's see, what can the Animal Spirit Oracle teach us? This one right here. Yeah. Okay, so with the theme being giving in grace and being in gratitude, when we do that, sometimes life stings, is what the Wasp Spirit is saying. But Hawk is saying, let your spirit be your guide. Let the universal laws of love in the universe be your guide. And that's even if someone has stolen something from you. And even if you're feeling a little bit like a victim right now, and maybe you were, because maybe they were just cruel, that's possible. And now I'm starting to think that, this person is really some guy. So if that's the case, then this brings in an entirely different message here, which is, don't let them get away with it. Don't be a victim. Don't let them victimize you. Yeah, sometimes life stings, but just be in your real, authentic emotional self. Cry if you need to cry. Get angry if you need to get angry. Set a healthy boundary if you need to. Whatever it is, just let all the feelings come and process them through, and you'll be all the better for it. Because being in the you don't have to be a turkey, but turkeys can be awesome. They can be a pain too. I had a bunch of wild turkeys stuck at my house. Oh my God! When I lived up in the mountains, there was a farm not too far, and this lady her animals would get out, and once I had I had a whole family of goats that wanted to live on my porch and just, make a mess. Make it terrible. Oh my God, the mess. And the same thing with the turkey. This turkey came and wouldn't leave. So every time I see a turkey, I think of that. But anyway, you don't have to be a turkey about it, but being in the grateful place of taking it as a lesson for life. And so that brings in that element of healing where it doesn't matter what pain we go through, as long as we heal from it, as long as we take it as something that needed to heal within our souls. Otherwise, we wouldn't have brought up the pain, right? I mean, if this guy comes in, if you've got a King of Cups that comes in and he tries to manipulate, you're not going to let him get away with it, and you're not going to, be a victim in it, and it's just gone. But this card didn't come through reverse, so that's why we have this issue here. But in the best case scenario, it would have been reversed, and nobody would have gotten away with anything. But nah, nice try, dude. Goodbye. Goodbye. Go. And then it just becomes, a part of life. Like life stings sometimes. And then other times, it does bring up something painful from the past, where when we were kids, we are like victims of circumstance, it feels like. When we're children, we don't have the free will that adults have. So it can be painful, and you can feel trapped. Imagine living in a home with abusive parents. You would feel trapped. It would take years of work and therapy and, going through the pain to come through and be, straight up emotionally pure. And, to clear all that out, to be in that place where you can be still within is, that it takes a lot of healing for that to happen. But once it's done, you're so grateful. And then you do have the grace. You absolutely have the grace inside of you. And you also, I don't think, attract those situations anymore, because we attract things that we need to grow out of and we need to heal from. So sometimes growing out of self-sabotage, where we let these guys in our lives. And they take from us, and they use us, and they steal, like energy vampires, and then we're left feeling trapped and worn out and beat up. Well, what happens is after a while you stop doing that, and then you're really, your spirit is guiding you, your higher self is guiding you, and you just don't even go in that direction anymore. It's like that poem that I've posted on my community page before called A Hole in My Sidewalk by Portia Nelson. It's all in one page. It's it's like 5 chapters in less than 5 minutes. You could probably read it in 1 minute, but it's something that we circle around in over and over and over again until we heal and we get to that place where, and I don't want to tell you it because it'll ruin the whole poem if you've never read it. And it's kind of like giving away the spoiler alert, So I'm not going to tell you the whole thing. But when the healing is done, then of course you're in that graceful, peaceful place. And when life stings, it's kind of like, oh well, this guy was sure in a bad mood. I'm getting out of here. right? Yeah. So, okay. Well, I think that's it. Thanks for listening, you guys. I hope you're having a good brand new week that's happening. My goodness, we're moving towards April. And yeah, and we're in spring. It's finally spring. Yay. Okay, you guys, take good care. Bye.